What's up, divehards? We are back again in beautiful Indonesia. In the last year, we've done the Banda Sea, we've done Komodo, we've done Alor, and now it's time to return to the last paradise. Let's do Raja Ampat. So after a grueling 54 hours of travel, I finally arrived in Sorong, where I was greeted by tons of familiar faces on the MV Samambaya. And man, this is still the most beautiful boat that I have ever been on. Not a bad way to experience the legend that is Raja Ampat. It's nicknamed the Last Paradise, Indonesia's crown jewel, the greatest dive destination on the planet. There's a ton of hype surrounding Raja, and for good reason. You see, Raja is located in the heart of what is known as the Coral Triangle, which is a region of the world that consists of Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, Papua New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, and East Timor. And while it covers a relatively small percentage of the world's oceans, it's home to the vast majority of known reef fish and coral species. And Raja is located right smack in the center of the triangle, close to the mouth of the Pacific Ocean. And this is at least partly why the biodiversity found in Raja is significantly higher than any other region sampled in the Coral Triangle. And this makes Raja the world's richest coral reef ecosystem. And it really does feel this way when you're diving it. So we made the crossing from Sorong to the southern part of the region yesterday. And today we're going to start our diving around Missool. And in case you didn't know, Missool is home to the world's most glorious soft coral reefs. Let's get out there and see what we can find. So we had great dives in Missool. The visibility was challenging, so the soft coral wasn't as punchy as I remember it. But the flip side of bad viz was that we had a ton of fish activity, in particular big schools of silver size, which were often accompanied by jacks that were hunting them. And we saw them pretty much on every dive, but the peak craziness was at Netted Corner and Kaleidoscope Ridge. My favorite dive site for soft corals was the shallows at Boo West, while Magic Mountain delivered some lengthy manta encounters. And we've been doing night dives pretty much every night, and unique to the Samambaya, the option to do either a reef or a blackwater dive, and I've been alternating between the two. But tonight I'm going team reef to see if we can find that elusive walking shark. Let's go diving. So we wrap things up in Missool with a visit to Jellyfish Lake, which is a place that I've known about for years, but never actually had the opportunity to visit. And wow, there are a lot of jellyfish. 10 out of 10 recommend if you're okay with the semi-treacherous climb up and down to the lake. And now we're actually in central Raja Ampat, in the Dampier Strait, which is home to some of the most famous dive sites in all of Indonesia. And I'm personally looking forward to revisiting Melissa's Garden, Cape Cree, and Manta Ridge, all of which hold a special place in my heart. And these days, you never know how a dive site will hold up over time. So I'm hoping that the coral and the reef life is as healthy and abundant as I remember it. So we're going to be starting our diving off around the island of Penemu and then working our way east through the Dampier Strait to finish up our itinerary in Cree. Let's see what Raja Ampat is all about. was Raja Ampat, at least this time around. And the thing to keep in mind, really with every dive destination, but in particular with Raja, is that the conditions are highly variable, so every trip is different. And of course, the coral reefs, which in my opinion are the most beautiful in the entire world, are always there. The bigger variables are going to be the visibility and the action you have over the reef, and we definitely had action. Tons of mantas, sharks, lots of big schools of fish, which are some of my favorite subjects to film. For some reason, I saw fewer really big fish like the tunas and trevallies than I remember, probably because of overfishing around the perimeter of the marine park, but we still had heaps of exciting hunting activity from the smaller species, and it's just an incredible combination of biodiversity and biomass that you only really get in Raja. And the coral reefs, like, my God, it literally brings tears to my eyes, like endless fields of staghorn as far as you can see. And I've seen a lot of coral death in my time as a diver, from coral bleaching, stony coral disease, dynamite fishing, bad divers. And so the health of the coral reefs in Raja Ampat is like a beacon of hope for the rest of the world. And if you're lucky enough to come to this place, make sure your buoyancy and trim is on point so you don't damage the coral. And in terms of the visibility we had on this trip, it was fine, somewhere between average to slightly below average. And honestly, if you aren't totally spoiled or hyper-focused on image making like I am, then you wouldn't think twice about it. And to be sure, there are no bad dives in Raja Ampat, but if you get really lucky with visibility and the action over that beautiful coral reef, it's absolutely mind-blowing, like best dives of your life good. And so Raja is one of those destinations that never comes off my bucket list, and I will for sure be back. And hopefully with the Samambaya, and a big shout out to their crew, especially Daniel, who's the resident cruise director and one of the main reasons I keep coming back. Like, yes, it's a beautiful luxury boat with amazing food and service and all that, but I'm a dive hard, and what I really care about is the diving. And there's a lot of operators in Raja Ampat, so the dive sites can get pretty crowded, the conditions can vary dramatically across the region, and so can the skill level of the divers on the boat. And this is where the experience and judgment of the cruise director can really make or break your trip. And it's an exhausting job. And Daniel is relentless. Like, it's very clear he goes way beyond to make sure that his divers are getting the best possible opportunities regardless of the conditions. And great vibes too. So I think that's a wrap on Indonesia for a while. What'd you think? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, dive hard.